Pittsburgh where I live, and it's just, I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through this. But since this is where I am, I'm going to make it count for something. Her death is going to count for something.
Thank you,
Kathy. Help somebody.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's very, very brave of you to say that. And so this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is like the real deal stuff. This is there's nothing theoretical going on here. This is what's happening in the world. And so if you think about, like, where can the meaning come from? First of all, Kathy, I don't think we know yet exactly what it's going to look like and who you're going to touch, but you're going to touch somebody. And what's going to happen is, guys, is there's a ripple effect when you stand up against this and you say, nope. There's a ripple effect where other people hear your story, other people hear about what you're going through. And this could be Kathy's situation, but it could also be anybody else's in here. By virtue of you guys being here and being able to be public about this and being able to be out, what you do is you start to create this other vibe in the opposite direction of how addiction wants to roll. Again, remember, addiction thrives in the darkness and in the secrets and in the lies and in all the, like, we don't talk about it. Shh, be quiet. Shh, be anonymous. All that kind of stuff. Keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. You guys are blowing that out of the water. How many people are going to hear about this because of you being here? Who's going to wind up being helped for it? That's the mystery of this. If you've ever seen, like, memorials, if you've ever seen, like, classic situation where there's a memorial for somebody, or somebody starts a program to help people that have passed away from a disease, that's also like another example of making meaning. What you're doing is you're transcending the event, and you're trying to say that we're going to wring something out of this. There's nothing good about this. I'm heartbroken forever, but we're going to wring something out of this. And so I would encourage you to start thinking of it that way, to start thinking about, and what does that look like for you personally, and what do you need to do to kind of put that into your life? What does that look like? Mary Kay, you ever hand up?
I've said it before, but for me, I had to find a way to figure out what good came out of all of this. Instead of saying, why me, why my family, why my child, I had to figure out what good has come out of this. And I know I've said before that if Dylan didn't suffer and go through what he's been through, I wouldn't be the same person that I am.
That's right.
Because he's taught me to not be judgmental. He's taught me, patience. He's taught me just a lot of things.
Yeah.
Through what we've been through. And so I wouldn't be the same.
No, and the other thing is that you guys got to remember, you guys are the only people I really like. You and people in addiction and stuff like that. Like, when I'm around people who aren't in touch with this type of stuff, I'm telling you, like, I don't know when it changed, but I struggle with, like, superficial BS conversations. Superficial, like, you know what I'm talking about? That it's a problem, because it's hard for me to do, like, things that I'm supposed to be doing. Like, y'all ever have? So have you ever? So I don't know if you guys have. I have young kids, right? And so, like, now having kids involves, like, you got to actually have business relationships, because you got to set up play dates. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like, I don't know what in the hell ever happened to, like, just go play. Now it's got to be, I got to hang out with this dad who I hate, because these kids, my kids, like their kids, right? And he wants to talk about, I mean, I'm just being straight, he wants to talk about, like, the Pittsburgh Steelers and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, there's stuff going on, and I'm not saying I want to be heavy all the time, but, like, I enjoy talking to people I enjoy deeper conversations. This is just where I'm at. And you guys are real. Y'all are real. Like, and one of the reasons why you're real is because you're here. As soon as you come in that door, as soon as you make a decision to walk in the doors of Favor, or any other group, if it was an Al-Anon meeting or something like that, as soon as a family makes a decision to walk in those doors, you have now just made a decision to stare this thing in the eye. To no longer, what? Look away, cross your fingers, and hope for the best. No matter what stage you're in this process. And that is incredibly brave, and that's admirable in my opinion. No matter what the circumstances are, if you're coming in and doing that, that's where it's at, man. And then you start to learn also what you can affect, what you can't affect, how you can help, and what you can do and what you can't do. Can you do an intervention? Can you not do an intervention? Can you make the person go to meetings? Can you not make the person go to meetings? But that's the journey that y'all are on that is just as important as the journey that they're on. I wanted to talk a little bit more because people, this is also common stuff as you get into suffering. Sometimes you start to question your faith, right? You start to, why me, God? That kind of thing. And and again, this is whatever manifestation of this or whatever you're into, and even if you're not into this, but this idea, if you are a person of faith, this is a time to lean on it, okay? If you believe in the power of prayer, this is definitely a time to break off the power of prayer. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. So trying to figure this part of it out. If you struggle at all with that part of it, have I been abandoned? What's going on? What do we do? I would suggest you talk to somebody in your church. You get with somebody. Like, you can get support through other people too. You can get pastoral counseling. Because there are some deep questions to answer here. And again, you can do this no matter what you believe. But if you have a faith background, I'm going to tell you, like, pull it out of your pocket and use it. Mm-hmm. And because there's a lot of this that's out of your control. And one of the things about the power of prayer, that's a very useful tool if you're dealing with something that you don't actually have control. What's a useful tool in all kinds of different ways. But do you guys get where I'm coming from? You're in the middle of a storm that you actually don't control the outcome of. And so the power of prayer. And trying to work through that as well, if that's something that you're struggling with. And also, when it comes to getting help for these issues, and when it comes to getting support, remember, you can cast a wide net. So we recommend you come to something like this where you're going to get specific information about addiction and recovery. But let's say you did this every other week and you did the lecture part of this, but maybe you didn't really. There are also other groups that you can go to. So a Bible study or a prayer group at church or some other type of program. I guess what I'm telling you is cast a wide net on where you get your support. And don't feel like it has to be one type of place. But remember, there's got to be one quality of the people supporting you. They cannot be judgmental, and they have to understand that addiction is a disease. It's not a sin. And so you don't want to be, but otherwise, I would say cast a wide net. If you feel comfortable getting support from other places, run with that. Human beings, we need each other. Okay? I can't believe I just said I didn't like that kid's dad. And I'm on Facebook. I don't know what to say now. Let's just hope for the best. Oh my goodness! All right. Well, I tell you what. I think on that note, we might need to wrap it up.
Rich, we don't all like everyone.
I understand that. I get it. Yeah. Usually I can get away with that. I'm just saying it to you guys. So, all right. Thank you for being here tonight. Next week, if you haven't been, it'll be a little bit of a different group. We'll sort of circle up the chairs and we'll kind of talk, open discussion, that kind of thing. Carol, I appreciate you doing it last week for me. And then the following week we'll come back and we'll do this again. I had somebody today text me some suggestions for some topics. Okay, that's how I came up with some of the stuff I wanted to talk about tonight. And if you notice, went a little bit of a different direction, okay? If you have ideas for topics, text me or email me. Or tell your coach or tell whomever. Let me know what it is you're interested in talking about as we go through these lecture series. So if you have an idea, throw it out there. And we'll see if we want to do this. Any other announcements or anything else that I'm missing?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So my son, a week ago, I thought he was going to be a poster boy
Yeah.
for success, and we're only 110 or so days into this. but after 30 days in-house rehab and coming out and coming here regularly 4, 5, 6 times a week, it dwindled off.
Yeah.
To not coming at all, even though he has a coach. So I'm still at that point of trying to get him to come back, keep encouraging him, to come back to favor, reach out to your coach. If we can't convince him, or he's not doing that, I believe I know his coach's name. Can I ask his coach to call him?
That'll happen anyway.
Okay.
That'll happen anyway, okay? What we would encourage with the coach, we wouldn't encourage you to contact the coach, because what's going to happen there is that's going to work on their relationship.
Okay.
Now, what you could do is if you needed support and you wanted to talk it through, you could call the hotline and talk to them about it and then you could tell them who the coach is and stuff. What you want to do is you want to avoid kind of putting yourself in the middle of that relationship in any kind of way, because ultimately you want him to be able to come back. And people they'll really read into things. And you and I know that you're not doing anything wrong, but it'll be like, what are you doing? That's like and this is true, guys, to a certain degree, the coach and the individual at the individual level, that's sort of like a sacred relationship to a certain degree.
And I understood that privacy level, that's why I hadn't reached out.
And so, but what you could do, first of all, rest assured that there will be phone calls anyway.
Okay.
The second thing, though, is you can always call that hotline, because that's not a one-on-one relationship that they have with the person. And then you talk it through with them, you're good to go. And then they can work it through with the coach. Does that make sense? That's a better way to do it. Then you're not in the middle of anything. In the meantime, though, keep encouraging him, and even ask, because one of the most curious questions I have when I hear somebody quit coming is, why did they quit coming? Is it just like going to the gym, like New Year's Day, you go to the gym, you go to the gym, you go to the gym, and then all of a sudden you stop going? Or did something happen? So maybe ask that.
He got his dream job.
Oh,
Passed his drug test.
that's one of the problems, guys, is sometimes recovery gives you back your life, and then your life takes you away from recovery. So, he will be getting a call. All right, guys, let's close this thing up. Let's take a second. A moment of silence for those still suffering with this disease. And then the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right, good deal.